Well, look at that. We got ourselves an honest-to-goodness feud between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. Best part is, I didn't see it coming. These are my assorted thoughts on the May 31st, 2024 WWE Smackdown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube, the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast from Silo Voice Studios in Montreal. I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell for notifications for all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, predictions, opinion pieces. You're still going to get all that, but now, reviews. I used to focus on written reviews at svsreviews.com/wrestling, but instead now I'm going to do video reviews for all the WWE PLEs, the premium live events, and for Raw and SmackDown episodes, I'm not going to do full reviews. I'm going to do sort of assorted thoughts, certain things that I picked out. If there happens to be a great match, I might focus on the match. If it happens to be a great promo or interview segment or an angle, I'll of course focus on that. And of course, this is SmackDown, so I'm suspecting there'll probably be more angles and interview segments than matches because that's the show for that. So let's start May 31st, 2024. This show was hyped to feature the rumored retirement of AJ Styles. Now, honestly, they did a great job of making this believable. From the segment with AJ and Nick Aldis last week to this week's segment near the beginning of the show with AJ asking Nick Aldis for some time, to all the discussion backstage with different wrestlers, some of his friends, to getting respect from LA Knight, his recent opponent, to bringing out Gallows and Anderson, the OC, doing the Bullet Club salute, to the way he talked about going to his son's graduation and wondering how many of these he had missed. He made a real strong case for leaving. Now, I didn't believe he was actually retiring. I thought he was going to TNA, as did others on the internet. The evidence was all there. There's some sort of an exchange program happening between WWE and TNA right now. It's mainly focused on NXT, but maybe to pay back, WWE will send one of their top stars, someone who made his bones in TNA, AJ Styles, for one final run, obviously funded by WWE, before returning. So that's what I thought was happening. I didn't know if they'd actually address that on this show. Maybe they just say he's leaving and then he shows up there, something like that. He brings out Cody, very passionate, sort of farewell send-off from Cody. And then out of nowhere, he clotheslines Cody and hits a very nasty-looking Styles clash off the steel steps. Sidebar, that move does look impressive when seen up close, and I understand why it's a finisher. Now, I didn't see this coming, even though this is not the first time WWE's done a fake retirement angle. Roughly 10 years ago, they did a similar one with Mark Henry, and I believe this was an homage to that. AJ was even wearing, I believe, the same colored suit that Mark Henry was. Salmon, I think it was. I'm not that good with suit colors. It got me. It surprised me, but I'm glad that they got me. I'm glad AJ's not retiring, and I'm glad AJ now kind of has a purpose since his return. When he first came back, you knew he wasn't going to win the Fatal 4-Way with Roman. You knew he wasn't going to beat LA Knight. In fact, that feud, they had to do a whole, like, coming to someone's house angle for it to have meaning. It was still a great match, but the feud didn't really have the gas to it. And then I did think AJ was going to win the tournament and was going to end up facing Cody at Backlash, but we knew he wasn't going to beat Cody. In fact, that was not a feud. That was just a match. That was he won a tournament. There were some promos back and forth. It was an excellent match. And maybe that's where they got the idea to try and do a whole program with AJ and Cody. But the thing is, they're doing that now. And now AJ Styles has a program, has a feud, and it's with none other than the face of the company, the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. We know they can have a match, and I think they can have a great feud. I'm not sure when it's going to pay off. Maybe we're going to do it at Clash at the Castle and then a third match at SummerSlam. Maybe they'll just hold it for SummerSlam. I guess it all depends on when Roman's coming back and The Rock's coming back. Or I still think they're going to put Cody versus Randy at some point, but I think that's maybe for the second half of the year, not right now. Cody and AJ, you have a definite heel, and Gallows and Anderson actually kept officials back, so he has his group with him. I'm not sure if Mia Yim or Michin is going to still be part of that group and go heel herself as well too. She has a match with Nia Jax, but which they sort of set up. That's the next topic, but I definitely think this feud has heat. AJ definitely has heat. He got the sympathy of everyone and then just threw it all away That's some real good booking. That's a way to make AJ Styles count. Now, the other advertised part of the show was, of course, the coronation of Queen Nia Jax. Now, to be completely honest, I was expecting way more pomp and circumstance. I was thinking other wrestlers might be involved as part of her, I guess, royal procession, maybe giving speeches about her being coronated by somebody besides Triple H or Nick Aldis, her calling everyone peasants. I think at some point we're still going to get her a la Macho King Randy Savage, Sensational Queen Sherry on the back of some sort of a dais being carried by people. But I do think her hairstyle was actually quite similar to Sherry's hairstyle when she was the queen. So at least that's something. That's a little bit of an homage. And we did get a bit of Nia Jax, not exactly talking about peasants, but basically talking about how it's all about her in her promo and later in the show. But of course, her coronation was mainly an excuse for Bayley to come out and be attacked by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, followed by Chelsea talking tough to Nia, saying Piper's going to be her opponent at SummerSlam. Now, I get it. You got to set up Clash at the Castle, which, by the way, is going to be Piper Niven versus Bayley. And you've also got to set up the match at the end of this show. It would have been nice, though, if that could have come maybe further into the segment and we got more of a coronation out of it. But still, the other thing I remarked, as I've remarked many times before, is that the wise man Paul Heyman is still the best promo in the business. And that goes for when he's being his usual boisterous and or smarmy self, or when he's cowering in fear, as he was this episode, as he has been for a while, when talking to Solo Sikoa, probably not sure that Solo really is talking with Roman, and definitely scared of Tama Tonga and Tango Loa, not liking their addition to the bloodline, or when he's passionately pleading with Kevin Owens. Now, that was unexpectedly passionate. I mean, Heyman's been passionate before, but this time he almost seemed like he was losing it. He was almost turning himself babyface, being sympathetic, pleading with Owens, screaming, saying like he's a Hall of Famer, he doesn't deserve this, pretty much to that effect. I can't do it justice. I don't remember all the specific words, but it was not your typical Heyman promo, but I guess he's somebody who always changes things up. Now, whether or not in kayfabe he really is afraid of the new bloodline members, or if he's just trying to, make other people afraid of them to help them out, and he's really serving Solo, who knows? I think he's waiting for Roman to come back. Who knows? I mean, if Roman comes back as a babyface, he almost might have to make Heyman a babyface for at least a little bit. This is definitely setting up something. It's continuing to build something. And we know that behind the scenes, Heyman's pretty much one of the main people running the show in the Bloodline storyline. So obviously his role in this is incredibly crucial. Kevin Owens, of course, didn't believe him, as well he shouldn't. And ultimately, this led to Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tango Loa coming out, which led to a match between Tama Tonga and Tango Loa, the Gorillas of Destiny, versus the Street Profits. This was a good match and a good first official TV match for the Gorillas of Destiny, or the newest Bloodline members. And of course, they ended up winning. But the real focus here, for me at least, was still Paul Heyman. The masked fear and concern that he was conveying whenever the camera found him was just amazing. I think he's now probably the most crucial part of this new Bloodline storytelling. There were some other things I noticed on the show, too. Chelsea Green got a pinfall victory against none other than Naomi. Yeah, it was with a lot of help from Piper Niven, but still, she hasn't got a W in a while. I'm glad for it. And I'm really glad LA Knight is finally going after Logan Paul and the United States Championship. But we might have to make a pit stop fighting Carmelo Hayes. And the WWE Tag Team Champions Austin Theory and Grayson Waller may turn on each other. This was hinted at in a singles match between Theory and Tommaso Ciampa, with Johnny Gargano of DIY and Waller at ringside. Seems like Waller was trying to take credit for Austin Theory's success. Who knows where that's going to go? Also, Andrade clearly doesn't want to be part of Legado del Fantasma. So those were my assorted thoughts on this episode of SmackDown, May 31st, 2024. What did you think of my thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on anything that maybe I didn't touch on? Do you like this format for, instead of reviews of SmackDown and Raw, just sort of talking about high points? I'm still going to have my opinion videos. Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Wrestling on X, at SVS Reviews on Instagram and Facebook, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. I'll catch you next time. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.